Hey ladies, it's Jen Mack, Lady of the Mind. Welcome to today's episode where I hope I am finding you driving your life with ease. If you're not driving your life with ease, and it is my intention that in today's episode I give you just one nugget of inspiration towards your transformation. I had a conversation with a friend of mine last week and she was telling me all about her issues with traffic. People are dumb on the road. That is a fact. But here's the thing. She made an interesting statement. She's like, I was listening to your podcast and you always talk about like the person who's kind of the jerk on the road, that he's probably going somewhere. He's in an emergency, right? I mean, that was a big perspective shift for me as someone who's running a red light. I'm like, obviously their 16-year-old daughter was just in an accident. She's going to the hospital. She is, and he's got to get there in a hurry. And the only thing he can think about is getting there to be by his daughter's side. Now that was a huge perspective shift, but my friend said, she goes, not everybody is an emergency. Some people are just assholes on the road. And I'm like, you know what? You're 100% right. But this is a part of life. And I know as you are listening, my friend, as you are listening to this podcast right now, you're like, really? This is how you're going to roll this one? This is how you're going to wrap this one around, Jen? Really? You're going to talk about life as traffic? And you know what? I am, because do you remember me telling you that I've been studying human design, and that's actually it's not new, it's from the early 80s, I think, but it's a design. Think of it like astrology, but way, way deeper and way more information. But anyway, actually, there's two parts in my human design that is all about analogies and metaphors. And I 100% love it. And I love the ones that I come up with. I love the metaphors that I find to help give some perspective. Because, it's all about perspective that helps us to transform, at least in my opinion. It's all about perspective. And I find it to be fascinating when we think about traffic and life, because in traffic, we are going from here to there. We're in the car for 15 minutes, 20 minutes. We're going from here to there. And we're encountering all of these different elements: stopping, going, turning, detours, construction, crap in the road, asshole drivers, people going too slow in the freaking fast lane. That's my biggest pet peeve. People zigzagging, speed demons that are whipping by you. What else? Tow trucks. Stinky cars, loud cars, whipping around motorcycles, bicycles that are going too slow in the wrong lane, right? But think about that as your life. If you take your life and you put it on a linear line, do you not have the same experiences? Shit in the road, people going too slow, people whipping around you, construction, detours, stops and starts. I'm like, oh my gosh, like that is totally life. Now, life is going to happen. We have talked about it a billion times in these 293 episodes. I probably say it in every single one, and that is the things that are happening outside of you are because of the energy and the triggers that you have inside of you. Because here's the thing, if you didn't have those triggers, if you didn't have those energy blocks that were stuck in the physical body, it wouldn't bother you. You would literally get in the car, go about your business, go from point A to point B, and not have a single problem. It doesn't matter who's driving what. It doesn't matter the size of the potholes. It doesn't matter the detours. It doesn't matter, because it's the journey. It's the adventure from going from here to there. And in the not mattering, it is just a journey. But I can stand back and I can look at my driving and I can say, it's just traffic. People are just driving their way to work or school or wherever they're going, picking up their prescriptions. So how do we adjust? That is the outside of me. I think that life's meaning, life's purpose is to experience, to explore, to reach those goals, but to have fun and to find those emotions that feel the best. here's what I'm suggesting. When I used to be a rage driver too. I would flip people off. I would pull people, like I would literally like annoy people to death that we would pull over and go like toe to toe in a parking lot. And I'd be yelling at them about how stupid they're driving, and we'd get in these, big yelling matches, and then we'd all get in our cars and slam our doors and peel away. Those were some fun times. I was probably a late teenager, early 20s, no idea what I was doing, acting like a complete asshole myself. And in that, somewhere between 20 and 50, I learned that traffic is traffic. But the only thing that is affected by that traffic is me. When I am yelling about how someone is an idiot on the road, it doesn't affect them. It only affects me. It affects me, and it sadly affects the relationships in my car. Did I tell you the story about my mom? I'm going to tell it again because it's such a great traffic story. She hates traffic. She doesn't venture very far from home very often. I do feel like my mom has kind of a sense of agoraphobia, which is the fear of, if I'm correct, if this is the right one, because now I think agoraphobia is a fear of public places. I don't think that that's it, because she goes to church and she goes to the library and they go shopping like every single day and they go to the grocery store all the time and whatever. So I don't think that's it, but I think she has a fear of leaving the house. So whatever that fear is. Anyway, and it's just a mild case of it, but she does suffer, she suffers from some anxiety. And traveling is one of those. Like she likes the idea of travel. She doesn't actually like the A to B part. She's like, I just want to teleport and get there. I want to use some flu powder in the fireplace and just get there, right? And one time I probably could have been maybe in my 20s. I could have been in my 30s. I'm not really sure. I was younger than I am now. And we're in the car. It's kind of winter-ish. So she's got these knit mittens on, and she's had them for 1,000 years. They're kind of this pale blue, like this earth blue tone, like country blue. And these mittens, they're mittens, right? No fingers, they're mittens. And she's driving we're in the city, and so there's the 5 lanes. There's the 2 lanes of traffic and then the middle turn lane. And she's in the middle lane, so the left lane going whatever. And somebody is in front of her, and he's got his blinker on, so she has to, slow way down. But this guy is not getting over into the turn lane. If I remember right, this is how it was happening. But this guy is not getting over into the turn lane. So she's completely annoyed by it. And then what happens, because she's slowing down so much because this guy isn't getting over, is she ends up catching the light. And the only reason I laugh is because what's coming next. So we're in the car, she's swearing, she's yelling at this guy, and she's like, get the F over. And, but she's saying the actual F word. And my mom doesn't usually swear unless she's in traffic or we're talking about politics. Those are really the 2 things that really get her fired up. Anyway, and so we get now side to side with this truck, and the light turns green and we start going, and she takes her left hand and she holds it up to the window. Now, if you could see me, you would know, based on my reaction, my animation of my mom, is that she's flipping him the bird. So she's flipping him the bird with a mitten on. So you can see what this kind of looks like, right? And so about 10 seconds later, I go, he can't see your finger, right? Oh, he knows what I mean, she says. He knows what I'm doing. And I'm like, okay. In the meantime, the rest of the afternoon, she retells this story 23 more times and continues to get pissed off more and more about it. That guy that held her up in traffic is long gone. He is on his date. He's at work. He's getting his oil changed. He's at the grocery store, whatever the hell. He is going on with his life. So who is it really affecting? It's affecting her. But that was her journey. So then I say, okay, let's, and I was like that. I used to flip people off in traffic, right? And then I started to think about some things. The perspective shift about someone in an emergency when they're like running a red light. It's really scary when that happens. Like, it is like Back to the Future, I think it's number 3, really scary, where you're like, oh my gosh, if I would have raced him, I would have been killed by that truck, right? Going through the light. I would have been, and there's been times where I didn't look to the left and the right when my light turned green and some truck goes whizzing through the red light. And I'm like, if I didn't look, I would have probably been killed just now in that moment. So I think about how this relates to life. and I think about the moves we make and the obstacles that get in our way. And then I think, my only job on this planet is to manage myself. It's to manage my behavior, my emotions, my direction in life, my joy, my happiness. It's about managing my energy. And I can't let traffic kick me out of the feeling good process. You know, we go on trips and we're pretty random. You know, like Amy and I are both like planners. We love to plan, but then we love like this planned spontaneity. And sometimes only the spontaneity just part means, hey, I know, let's go, blah, blah, blah. And then we start running around for 2 hours planning wherever we're going. And we love that. But we have to understand that, and this is the hardest part, I think, for people to understand, and myself included, is it's not the destination. That's part of it. But it's also the journey to get there. It's the flight. It's the car ride. It's the stops along the way that can increase the joy of the whole experience. So if I'm on my way to driving Cameron to school, let's say, and we have some pretty cool car rides, like we have some pretty interesting conversations. And listen, for you moms out there who have like like young teenage kids, especially boys, but both boys and girls, and you need to talk with them about something, like you need to have serious conversations with them, or you want to just basically deepen your connection, get in the car and go for a drive, or go on a really long walk. Sometimes a bike ride. I would say a bike ride does the same thing if you guys can ride next to each other and not have the interruption of not being able to hear each other or whatever. But there is something about the car ride, not in the back seat. I think it's sit in the car next to you. I'm telling you, the kids that have been in my life that I have driven in the car with, my nephew lived with me, my oldest son, Bob, Cameron, when they're in the car, they will spill their guts. They will talk about anything and everything. And I'm not sure what it is. It's just this comfort because we're not staring at you. But there's this movement, there's this comfort that the body is kind of, you know, seeing the scenery, and it's almost like we're doing something, even though you're literally just sitting in the car. But anyway, if you want them to like spill the beans, get in the car or go for a walk. They will talk and talk. It's crazy, but I love it. Anyway, there's my one nugget for you if you need it. Now, when we are moving through our lives and we're thinking about this journey, and I'm here in my life and I'm going from here to there, and I want the destination to be this excitement. But what I want is the journey to add to the excitement. You know, like take a cake donut, for example. I 100% love cake donuts. If I could live on different donuts, I would do it. I 100% love donuts. I love the smell of them. I love cake donuts. Don't get me wrong. I don't love these puffed air donuts that are in the gas stations and the grocery stores now. I don't like those, but I like the Bavarian cream, or whatever, the Boston cream, the one that's not the frosting inside, the one that's like the pudding or the custard inside. Chocolate frosting with sprinkles, okay? Cake donut, chocolate frosting with sprinkles. That's my gig, okay? You want to win my heart, you get me either the Long John that has the custard, I think it's a custard, not the frosting with chocolate frosting, or the cake donut with chocolate frosting and sprinkles. You got me. I'm hooked. You will be my best friend. You could be my business partner. You could you could pretty much be anything you want. That is like a way to my heart, right? Anyway, so we are, I don't even know what was my point to telling you about the donut. What was my point to that? How much I love donuts. Oh, okay. So when we're thinking about the destination in my mind is the donut, right? It's the actual donut. And I will eat a plain cake donut like no other. I love them. But when you add frosting, that makes it a little bit better, but it's still the donut. It makes it a little bit better. Then when you add sprinkles, it makes it even better. My point to that is the destination is the donut. The other things on the donut, like sprinkles, not cereal. I don't know why they're doing that. They're putting like Cocoa Pebbles and Lucky Charms and Fruit Loops on freaking donuts. That's wrong. And like Snickers and stuff. Like they're mixing, it's gross. That's gross. But the donut is the destination. The frosting and the sprinkles are the things along the way that just make that experience better. So for example, a few weeks ago for Amy's birthday on a Monday, we celebrate birthday week. So I do all these different gifts. I show up at the office unexpected. I deliver flowers. We deliver candy and balloons. On her actual birthday, if it happens during the week, we go to the office and we sing happy birthday and disrupt the whole entire place. That's what I love doing. And so during birthday week, it's Monday. And so I call her. I'm like, hey, the boys are home. They haven't started school yet. And the boys are home. And I'm like, hey, you know what? We're going to go to Mackinac City. And it's about a 2.5 hour drive from our house, which to me is like nothing to go to this wonderful destination. So anyway, so I'm like, I call Amy and I'm like, hey, we're going to go. You want to go with us? And she's like, yeah, I think that I can get, I can get the rest of the day off. And I'm like, well, figure it out. We're going to keep like packing stuff, right? So we're getting stuff ready to go. So we're going to have a good time, and it's warm enough. It's hot that, it's 80 some degrees. I'm like, okay, we might go swimming. So bring your swimsuit. Let's bring some stuff. We're going to bring the dogs. So we'll get all their stuff. And anyway, so we get in the car, we scoop her up and we start going. Well, the end result is Mackinac City. We have all these plans. We're going to have lunch. We're going to have ice cream. We're going to buy stuff. We're going to spend money. We're going to buy touristy crap. We're going to go and have lunch there. We're going to do all these things. But along the way, we stopped at a couple of different places. Like we see what's called Frisky's Market, and it's like a winery and it's like a festive kind of market. There's pumpkins out front, there's apple cider, there's all these local foods, there's a big giant playground, there's this huge field with cornfield, there's a small corn maze. It's just kind of this fun place. They have little goats, so you could feed the goats and stuff like that. Well, as we're approaching the sign, one of the boys said, "Can we stop there?" Now, my old self would have said, oh, hell no, because we're going to Mackinac City, Cameron. That's what my old self would have said. But because I love the frosting and the sprinkles, I said, hell yeah, let's stop. And it was an absolutely 100% beautiful day. So we pull in, and as we're taking in the scenery, we're like, hey, let's hang out here. We can have first lunch. Boys, these teenage boys never stop eating. So we're like, we're going to have part of our lunch here. So let's have lunch. Let's play on the playground. Let's get some cider, like maybe get some donuts, because that's pretty much all I ever live for. Let's play. Let's hang out. Get the dogs out of the car. They're going for a little walk. They'll go do that. They'll go over there, set up their lunch. They had these picnic tables. There's kids everywhere playing. There's people everywhere. I'm like, it was awesome. And it was an addition to the destination. Now, what the hell does this have to do with dealing with traffic, Jen? Your journey from here to there, whether it is every single day taking your kids to school, taking your butt to work, going to an appointment, going to the grocery store, the destination is the end goal, but the journey is the adventure. So my suggestion is a couple of things. First, my suggestion is get to that place of joy so high on your vibrational scale. Get to that place of joy and then set the intention that no matter what, nothing out there, nothing outside of me is going to kick me out of this high vibration. Nothing outside of me. Traffic, pothole, flat tire, idiot driver, slow drivers, dump trucks, garbage trucks. You ever been stuck behind a garbage truck? They stink. Seriously, don't get behind a garbage truck. Plus their crap flies all over the place too. It's like a bad movie. It is in the adventure. Now, for me, my two best words are fun. Well, freedom is up there. That's one of my favorite F words, is probably freedom. But if I have the freedom, my words right after that are fun and adventure. I love adventure. When I would work a full-time job, I'm going to the same freaking place every single day, and I'm like, okay, the job's getting boring, the ride's getting boring, I'm bored. I would start driving a different way. I would turn left here. I'm going to go around over that way. I'm going to find different things to look at, to see, to observe. I'm going to wake up my subconscious mind. I'm going to say, hey, we're going to observe things differently today. Or better yet, I'm going to look for things. I'm going to look for things that might normally upset me, and I'm going to figure out how it can not upset me. So when I am in an energy-rich state, a high vibrational state, it is my intention to stay in that state as long as I can. I want to stay in the state as long as I can. Do you remember when I was telling you a couple weeks ago after my after the expo, I kind of like sunk in. I like went on, I'm going to call it, I went on retreat. I like disappeared for a while. And my practice on this one particular day was, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm a 10. Like, I feel amazing. My energy feels good. I feel excited. The weather is perfect. Everybody feels great. It's just great. Everything's great. It was crazy. It was like Pleasantville. And I did everything I could to stay in that state without letting anybody or anything kick me out. Because who does that affect? It affects me. It puts me in an energy poor state, and then that affects my relationships. It affects my business. It affects my client interactions. It affects the cashier interaction at the grocery store. Now I'm not as friendly or as inspirational as I would normally be. So that's my biggest offer to you, is to get into that energy rich state. Say to yourself, traffic is traffic. Traffic is neutral. Traffic is a neutral thing, just like the leaves falling, just like Christmas, just like snow and rain and sun. It's just a neutral thing. It is how we respond to it that creates the journey that is either a good journey, a neutral journey, or a bad journey. Now, we could have gone to Mackinac City. I could have had a plain cake donut. We could have skipped everything in between. I could have said no to frosting and no to sprinkles. But the difference is the whole experience would be plain. If I'm just going from here to there, and I'm not looking at the journey from getting from here to there as part of the experience, and I want to make it positive, I want to make it adventurous, I want to make it joyful, as it's not part of the experience, then you, my friend, are missing out. And I don't care if you're driving 2 blocks. Make it an adventure. Open up your subconscious mind. Open up your awareness and look around. What else do you see? That is where the adventure lies. What else are you looking at? Look at houses. Look at traffic. Look at people. Look at people walking their dogs. What do you notice? Notice more. Expand more. Wake up just a little bit more. And in this state of waking up just a little bit more, you will find adventure in every single move you make. You will find adventure on every road, behind every asshole driver, behind every slow driver, behind every dump truck, hitting every pothole. But it is up to you. You make the decision to be more awake. And I would be absolutely 100% curious to hear how this goes. Every day is a miracle. Every day is an adventure. Are you going to fall out of this? Yes. Is this going to be challenging for you? Yes. But you know what? It's okay, because we're learning. Traffic is traffic. It's neutral. How you respond to it creates your journey. If you liked this episode and you look forward to future episodes and are really looking for a community to help support you with implementing the tools that we're talking about in this podcast, please consider joining our online sister community called Lady Rising on Facebook, where we focus on that spiritual support and connection, just like in today's episode. I hope you'll join us. Go to Facebook, type in Lady Rising, and tell me you came in through the podcast.